Greetings, magical souls. I wanted to come on today to share some really magical things that have been happening to me. And it's a little bit of a different video because if you've been following me, I don't really talk about what's going on in the world, but I do want to touch on it because I feel like it's important, but not from the perspective that most people are touching on it. So, just to give you some perspective, I am working at the moment on what I call my Phoenix Scroll, and it's my version. If anyone's been on my website lately, it says coming soon, and it's my version of human design. Now, what's really interesting is that I'm trying to put a slightly different perspective on human design. So I've been working through the Gene Keys book, and so instead of just doing my own Gene Keys, I am trying to build a template that I can then pull and extract information from. So I am working through each gene key, so not just my own. And in doing this, all I can say is that I am going through some fundamental change. I mean, I feel like the first part of it was before my soul intervention in September last year, but now this is just deepening. Now, what really struck me, and it's the reason that I'm here, is that yesterday, because I've done sort of my stuff and I wanted to give my husband his chart and that kind of thing. I did all our keys, and now I'm starting back at number one and continuing just to now fill in the gaps of all the keys that I don't have. And yesterday, I ended off with the first gene key. And that is the gene key of entropy, freshness, and beauty. The reason I've woken up this morning going, holy shit, is because what I've realized is that it's the first gene key, but really the whole message behind that gene key, the way I've interpreted it, is that the creation doesn't emerge despite the darkness. It emerges through the darkness. And so in the same way, we've got the shadow, but the shadow is almost the fertile soil for things to emerge from. And then as you know, you can think of the shadow as being sort of the lower spectrum of consciousness, and the siddhi, which is sort of the divine gift. You have the shadow, the gift, and the siddhi in the gene keys. And so you can think of the divine gift or the siddhi as being sort of just that higher level of consciousness. The reason why this is important and why I want to share it is because for many, many years, I have known about the darkness that is currently being exposed in our world. I still don't know the details because I only know the headlines, because I go, why do I want to dive into that? It doesn't matter how much I know about it. What does it change at the end of the day? The reason I'm sharing this is because I've noticed that on the internet, the feeds everywhere are full of it. I mean, I can't even go and look up a bloody recipe at the moment without some ad popping up all over the place. And it's like, it's impossible to get away from. And if anybody still thinks that these have been leaked, they have been purposefully given to us all at once in this way. I mean, I think we can all appreciate the shock the majority of humanity is currently in. I don't think there's a word to describe the depravity and the depths of what we are seeing. The darkness, the evil, whatever you want to call it. But the reason I share this is because for many years, when I first found out about this, and it was like, wow, I think that's true. But of course, in those days, it was like, you're a conspiracy theorist, and this isn't true, and it's all lies. And I said to my husband many years ago, mark my words that in the coming years, if this ever gets exposed, and I think it will, if this ever is shown to be true, and I think it is, that we are going to, at the same time, see the utter pits of evil, despair, darkness, depravity, and awfulness of humanity. And simultaneously, we are going to be seeing the best, the beauty, the wonder, and the awe of humanity simultaneously at the same time. And so I wanted to just come on today and share that, because remember, the darkness cannot be transmuted unless it is seen. And we are currently now, it's being put out there for everybody to witness it. It doesn't really matter whether it's being done deliberately or not. It simply is. Nobody's denying that. But you don't need to feed it. You just need to witness it. You just need to witness it, and then it can be transmuted. And that's the second thing. We are currently still in the energy of Imbolc, which is I'm doing work in my Patreon this year, where I'm trying to reconnect back to the natural cycles of Earth, solstices, the equinoxes, and then the 4 little spaces in between those, where we really just start honoring the natural cycles of Gaia and of us as a species. And so I wanted to also say that for anybody out there who's maybe going, what do I do about this? What do I do with this? What do I do? There must be something I can do, because surely we're not all going to sit here and just carry on with our jobs and basically go, oh, it's okay. I'll just keep doing what I've always done, knowing that the people that are telling me what to do and supposedly running our governments and world are of this caliber and ilk. And what does that really mean? Well, it means that we're telling them that it's really okay. We're really okay with them telling us what to do and remaining in power, the positions that we supposedly elected them into. But what I'm trying to get at here is, it's not really our new year yet. So this energy of Imbolc is really one of percolation and meditation and dreaming and imagining the world that you want to be, and allowing that just to percolate, to sit, to just to give that your energy. What is the world that you want to envision? So we don't necessarily need to be doing anything yet. The new year only starts the end of next month. But it's important to just be aware. Awareness is the only thing that you need to have right now. So you're witnessing that, but understanding that from this darkness, beauty of the likes of that we cannot imagine is going to emerge from this. And this isn't bypassing, but this is just being aware of, and then being very intentional with your energy. What are you feeding? What are you consenting to? What rabbit holes are you going down to? Being very, very aware of what you are feeding. Rather feed your own dreams and your own heart's desires and all the beautiful things that you want to bring into the world. So that was the first thing that I just wanted to share. And I really, because we live in this world of polarity and duality, don't you really find it interesting that, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody out there that's experiencing this, but I am actually starting to experience the best in humanity while seeing at the other end of the spectrum all this depravity and darkness. And it's witnessing these two polarities. They're right in front of us, and kind of just knowing that this has to come out. If we want to purge the shadow and we want to raise our consciousness, it can't just be swept under the rug. That's the bypassing. That's the not doing the inner work. That's the, oh, somebody else will fix it. Somebody else will save me. Somebody else. No, this is for us to do, but it's just bearing witness to at this present time and being aware of. What I really wanted to sort of just harp on is that we are all fractals of source. And for me, the real disclosure, I mean, what's come out is just it's a pinprick. It's not even the tip of the iceberg. It's our whole reality is based around what we are seeing and this false matrix. And the thing is that when we remember that we are all fractals of source, that we hold all of the shadows, the gifts, and the cities of all of the keys, no matter which ones are in your chart, we, through us doing our inner work and through us facing our shadows and all the things that we've been doing, we've been purging all of that. We've obviously got our individual shadows and we've got a collective shadow. The collective shadow is massive, and that's where this is sitting. But we all hold the gifts and the cities. It's a different vibration of the same key, of the same gate, of the same essence of consciousness. And for me, this is the true disclosure, is that I don't think we fully appreciate just how powerful we are, and that we are, because we are a fractal of source, which is the creation of all, the creator of all that is, that we are these master creators. We are creating, and we are creating this reality. And that's why your awareness is so key. So it's what you're giving your energy to and what you want to create. And we're moving out of that. This whole shakeup around the world is moving out of consumption and back into creation. You know, we're no longer going to be slaves to the system. We're no longer going to be consuming and buying and, you know, all of this illusion, all these companies that have kept telling us that, oh, you know, we must go green, and we're trying to put so much money in this, into climate change and this and that, and, you know, look what you people are doing to the world. Those are the same companies that are building in redundancy into their products and giving us shit products that fall in holes. So we've got to keep buying new ones. We've got to keep getting a new phone. Eventually our phone doesn't work and we've got to have a new one. Nobody can keep a phone anymore. I try and keep mine for as long as I can. But all these companies that are going, oh, we need to save the planet, are the very ones that are keeping us buying. That whole illusion is collapsing. So the real power lies here, lies within us. And we've given our power away to all these people that we've so-called elected, and we're simply reclaiming that power now. We needed to see what we've given our power to so that we can reclaim it. How would we ever reclaim it if we didn't realize what they were doing? You know, so this is just a necessary, very messy, very uncomfortable, and very shocking, and almost, I think a lot of people are feeling powerless. And that's why I'm making this video, because the power is here. The power is within us. We are part of the creator. And we have the power to change all this. To me, that is the real disclosure, us remembering exactly what the fuck we are. Excuse the French, but really, we don't have to listen to the powers that were. I call them the powers that were because they no longer have control. And what happened in 2020 was really just a test to see how much we would listen, how much we would comply, how much control they could exert over us. There was no virus that just suddenly came out, whether it came out of a lab or from a bat or whatever it is that you want to believe. That was a test to see how far they could extend their control and their power. And I think it woke a lot of us up, and we already know that it's backfired quite spectacularly. But I want to share the magic that is happening. So now, if I can just describe, I don't know, I'm, as I said, I'm working with these gene keys and I'm being shifted in these fundamental ways at the moment. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's like me. I'm crying at the drop of a hat. I'm experiencing, it's like I can fully see, and I'm probably going to cry again. And half of me wants to apologize, and the other half of me is going, I don't actually care. But I'm starting to really see the true beauty in the world. And it makes me cry. It makes me emotional. Because on the one hand, we've got this, and on the other hand, we've got this beauty. And yesterday I was driving and I drove past a bus stop. There was an ambulance there. The paramedics had loaded an elderly woman onto the stretcher. And there were all these teenage kids standing by this woman, all like looking down at her, some around her. And I don't know how it wasn't, it was a feeling, it was a presence, it was a sense that I got from them. Because obviously I was driving, I'm not going to stop, and I've never been one to rub a neck at these things anyway. But it jumped out at me because it was like these kids were supporting this woman on the stretcher. And it was like for that single moment, everybody had reconnected back to their hearts. And I was struck by how a lot of the time when I'm here and I travel around, the teens do not give up their seats for women, for the elderly. I often wonder what's wrong with our teens and with our youth. I know a lot of it has been spurred on by what happened in 2019, but there's a real sense of like hopelessness for me when I look at our next generation and I go, holy fuck, like, is this the next generation? Like, we are in severe trouble. And what I witnessed yesterday was this moment of just this, them standing there, them almost lending their support to her, like she wasn't alone. And there was this connection between all of them and me as I was driving past. And as I say, I can't fully articulate it, but it was something that I felt, and I cried all the way to the shop. And it was such a beautiful moment. And I thought, oh my God, the youth are still in there. Their hearts are still in there. What we're seeing is simply the masks that they're still wearing and whatever. But what I experienced yesterday, what I felt, wasn't necessarily seen. It was something that was felt, was what is underlying this shadow. And that is the gifts and the cities, because they're within each and every one of us. No matter how dark somebody looks, no matter what it looks like it's going out there, that light is ever present. And I felt it in real time yesterday. And I wanted to share this story because it was so uplifting and so empowering, so beautiful. And then just to go on to these other magical things, I'm sitting on the side of my screen today because I want to share some pictures, which hopefully is going to work after I do this. When we were driving on Sunday, my husband was driving, I distinctly heard the words, look up, look up. And as I tried to look out the side of my window, I was blinded by the sun. And it was like, oh, great, they want me to go blind. Anyway, I couldn't see what was going on. So I stuck my camera up and I just started snapping. And I thought, I'll check when I get home. And can I share these images with you? You know me, I'm always seeing dragons in the sky and the occasional unicorn and what have you. I often see angel wings, but I don't often, well, I've never seen an angel in the sky. This look up was a calling. And I don't know if you can see in this image next to me here, this figure, there are two wings, the head's almost facing this way. And in the middle of the body, there's almost this diamond-like shape. But as soon as I saw it, I just got angelic presence. And I was floored by this because, as I say, this was 2 days ago. And then I snapped the second image. Well, this, as I was snapping, this is the same angel. And now it's moved slightly. It's more to the left, but it appears to be looking back and down to these two little shapes at the bottom. And I don't really need to point them out. I think whoever can see them will see them. But I just know, I don't know. At first I thought, oh my God, are those dragons. And immediately what came in is they're unicorn foals. Well, they're baby unicorns. Baby unicorns. And I shared them with a friend, and I hadn't noticed, but in the clouds above as well, there are almost these horse-shaped beings. I find this fascinating as we're entering the year of the fire horse. But these are not dragons, these are unicorns. To me, unicorns are always a divine, like a higher frequency embodiment of the horses we have here with us on earth. And anybody who's ever been around a horse knows how special horses are. But one little unicorn looks slightly skeletal, and the other one is all like fluffy, but they are baby unicorns. And as I said, I don't know how I know that, but I was looking for dragons, and it was like, we are unicorns. We are unicorn, and they're babies. They're babies, baby unicorns with an angel. And the angel's like their guardian. That's the message I got from this. Now, what's even more phenomenal, because there are signs everywhere. That's why I'm saying, pay attention to the magic and what you want to bring in. Pay attention to all the signs the universe is sharing with you, that your team is sharing with you, that nature is sharing with you, that Gaia is sharing with you. Pay attention to all those signs. Just witness the darkness. But you don't need to go there. You don't need to stay there. But yesterday morning, I was outside and I was thinking about the clouds, and on the wind towards me, this thing started coming towards me. And I thought, what is that? And it came into my garden and it landed on a hedge next to me. And it was a gray and white feather. Flew right towards me and then landed in the plants. As I'm thinking about these angelic images. This morning I wake up and I'm thinking about making this video. And that's really why I'm here. And I'm standing on my balcony upstairs. And I'm thinking, wow, I need to share this message. And this white feather drifts past the balcony and kind of hovers in mid-air above me while I'm just standing there, pure white feather today, and then drifts off. And I go, guys, there is such magic emerging from this darkness, because creation emerges through the darkness. The darkness is being transmuted just by each and every random act of kindness. I'm noticing sometimes I will go into the shops and people are more friendly. This morning, somebody phoned me from the SPCA, and normally I go, oh my God, I don't want this call because these people are all part of the matrix and the money isn't going to the animals. And this morning I find myself saying to the woman, I'm not quite ready to continue with my donation at the moment because I paused it a year ago. I'm not quite ready to do that yet, but I communicate with animals. They're really important to me. And here I find myself telling her all about how animals are the bridge to New Earth. We have to raise our consciousness. They are showing us the way back to our hearts. And I'm having this full-on conversation with this woman where normally I'm just going, no, thank you. I don't want to donate to you at this time because you're all part of the matrix and I'm not interested. And she says, oh my God. She says, wow, what a beautiful conversation. She says, I'm so glad I phoned you today. She said, I don't actually care about the fact that you're not donating to us again. You're not starting up your donation. She says, but what an awesome conversation this is. And it was in that conversation that I feel like I shifted somebody around animals. And I said, they're all souls. They're just in different skins. And she was like, oh, wow. And I said, yeah, I've always believed that. So there is magic that is happening. I mean, and the thing is that I responded differently to that SPCA call than what I would have done a month ago, whenever it is that they phone me, because I am different. I am different. I'm changed after seeing that little old lady yesterday with those kids. I'm changed from doing this work with the gene keys. I'm changed from seeing the clouds and the feathers and I am different. And now my world is, I am seeing all these things and then just more and more and more beauty. And that's why I'm saying I'm creating my reality at the moment that is full of this fucking awesomeness, despite that on the other side. And what I said all those years ago, that I'm going to be seeing the worst of and the best of at the same time. And it's going to be really hard to kind of manage mentally, but it'll be okay in here, is exactly what I'm experiencing at the moment. Remember what lives within you, and remember how much power you have. And if this is teaching you anything, you might feel powerless for a moment, but I'm here to remind you of the power that we all hold within us. And it is okay. It is okay to just be at the moment. You don't need to do anything, but be aware and focus on the world that you want to create. Focus on the world you want to create, because you are a master creator. You are a part of Source. And together we are going to change the world. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that has been helpful for anybody out there that is feeling a little bit hopeless. And I'm sending you so much love and so much magic. And I hope that you experience that in some way, shape, or form today. If you just open yourself up to the magic, it is going to reveal itself to you. I absolutely promise you of this, because I am experiencing it. You just simply have to believe, and believe in yourself, believe in your power, believe in your light, believe in yourself. Please do. Please believe that you have the power to change the world, because you do. You absolutely do. Every single one of us is here to bring in our own divine frequency, and we have the power to change the world. And you are just starting to be reminded of the power that you hold. So again, thank you for listening. Sending you lots of love, sending you magic, and hang in there. Hang in there. You came here for this. You came here to be this change. You're awake, you're aware, you have a role, and you just need to be you. Just be you. Just be your light. You don't need to do anything. Sending you much love. Magical, magical, magical blessings wherever you are. May they shower upon you in absolute abundance. Thanks, guys.